All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I want to talk to you guys about some more letting go. The letting go process is by far the best way to ever get somebody to come back into your life. Actually, what ends up happening is you realize that that person, right, might not even be the best person for you, because during the letting go process, you're like, shit, I was blind. I was stupid. I was this. I was that. And it's okay to admit that you were dumb for a little bit of time. I've been dumb for ages during so much of my life. And it was really only until I got out of the 9-to-5 distraction, I call it a distraction, that I was able to really listen to my voice inside. Right. And actually, I had to listen to that voice before that, because I had to even recognize that 9-to-5 was not even built for me anyway, or I wasn't built for it. OK, so I want to talk about suppression and expression, because this is really important in understanding. Look, if you guys do get your exes back and you guys get them to talk to you, you guys have to be able to keep them. And magnetically, when you understand how to deal with your emotions and you understand how to deal with the person across from you, right, your relationship, when you understand how to do these things, it will make your confidence in the relationship better. You, like for example, if me and my girl have a disagreement, I have no doubt in my mind that everything's going to be all right. Everything's always okay. First of all, because I believe in my leadership skills for it to be okay. But if it goes to a place where it's very angry or very toxic, then I walk away from the situation first, and she knows that. We've made it known that that is a thing that I'm going to do, because if I get too riled up, right, I'm going to say something that I don't want to say, or I'm going to act. I would never hurt her, right? But I don't want to even get close to that. It's a choice now. See, the problem with a lot of so guys that are masculine, right? You can still get angry. A lot of people think that alpha leaders don't get angry. You can still get angry. It's just you can't let that rule you, or you can't let your anger make decisions for you, or you can't let yourself get so emotional that you make it you make a decision through that emotion. Will Smith, right? So that's the point. You can still get mad, but you can't let it control you. I think that's the difference. So what I do, if things ever get heated, and they don't really, especially now, because we know how to communicate with each other, I just go, okay, this is obviously getting to a place where we're not even really talking about the issue anymore. We're the emotion is there. Let's talk about that. Why is this getting to this place? And guys, sometimes women they're emotional beings. They want to, especially when things are good for too long. Yo, I'll tell you guys a secret, and this will be on a Masculine Energy podcast. I'm going to probably record my very first episode after this video is done. There'll be a YouTube channel for it, and I'm going to put it up on Spotify, Apple, and all that shit. I just need to know what they require. That's all. I'll tell you guys a damn secret. When things are good for a long time, and women like to stir the pot a little bit, it's like that boredom hits, and they're like, oh man. So that's why being captivating as a man is really important, like doing a lot of fun, big things. But even then, if things are too good, right? Human beings don't like things to be too good for too long. Look at us. Suppression and expression. This is very, very important. I want you guys to listen to this, okay? It starts with, this is from the book, The Sedona Method, by the way. All right? So I want you guys to pick this book up by Hale Dwoskin? I don't know. But this is what it looks like, okay? And for many of you asking me, because you guys are like, put the emotional... put the map of consciousness, the colorful one, up on your channel, right? They are not very cool with that. I didn't get any warnings or anything yet. They don't like that because it's copyrighted, right? They don't like that being shown, and it's not David Hawkins himself, because he's dead. But whoever runs the show now, that is his copywritten work. So I only show it for a few seconds usually. But you guys can literally Google it. The Map of Consciousness by David Hawkins. That's all you guys have to look up. And you guys can see this, okay? And I made a video on my other channel, The Abundant Mind. And it came up, there was an entire video of the whole scale breakdown. And they took it down. They were like, yeah, they gave me a copyright strike. Without, like, like, I was like, I'll share the revenue. Like, I messaged them and they're like, yeah, in order to preserve the work of whatever we're trying to. And do you know how many people are making, like, I was so taken aback by it, by the way. I know I'm rambling, but I was laughing. I was like, do you guys understand how many people are making videos about this stuff on TikTok, YouTube? How many people are talking about it in podcasts? You guys don't even bother trying. But they're like, yeah, in order to preserve the work of David Hawkins, we're taking down all. I'm like, you guys are dumb. So, Sedona Method. Have you ever watched a very young child fall down and then look around to see if there's any reason to be upset? Because this work will bring people. See, when you detach, you become attractive. Okay, think of magnetism. And sometimes thoughts hit me as I start reading. I'm sorry. So you become attractive as you detach from things in life. People want to be around you, but the more attached you are, the lower your vibration is, the less people want to be around you. Sometimes you're going to have people leave your life because they can't stand or handle being around you in both, when you're in the red and when you're in the blue. Okay? I'll show it for a second, all right? So this work's more important than my fucking money. Blue, right? So I'm just going to refer to the colors. Blue and red, and then there's yellow and green in between, right? When you're in the blue, some people are going to, like, you're going to not vibe with certain people, especially old friends of yours. People, like attracts like. It's a universal law. Like attracts like all day long. So people that are high vibration attract other people that are high vibration. People that are low vibration are going to attract other people that are low vibration. But it is possible for somebody that is low vibration to be in a relationship with a high vibration person for a short period of time. So, because what happens is the high vibration person, like you'll start dating them, and the people in the low vibration in the red will start showing you the best versions of themselves, because people can hide who they are for a certain amount of time. And then you eventually start seeing red flags. So what do? People who are not educated and not aware, or they choose to ignore, they'll look at these red flags and go, well, love will conquer all, which is just complete bullshit. People on this planet, in my opinion, this is our mission as a human race, is to go from lower vibrations to higher ones, raising consciousness levels. Right? And with the internet, that is happening at a staggering rate, especially on TikTok right now. That's what's happening right now. So anyway, I think the point is to raise consciousness levels. Now, men and women, when they date, can't be in a very divided vibration for too long. Meaning, if she's in the blue and you as a man are in the red all the time, this is why women love older men. It has nothing to do with the actual age itself. It has to do with the maturity level of where you are in life. See, when you have things, when you have money, there's no pressure or less pressure. More money, more problems, in a way that's true. But you have less pressure. You can afford things. You can afford better food. You can afford, etc. You guys understand. See, women want to go out with older men because they're calm, confident, cool, and collected. Younger men are anxious and fearful and full of all kinds of emotions. It has nothing to do with the age, right? It's usually, most of the time, it has to do with where that man is at in his life. A guy in his 20s right now in 2022 is like, you have nothing. Unless you have money from your family, you're building something important is very fucking difficult. You're going to get to your 30s and shit with women is going to get 10 times easier. But even then, you might hit your mid-30s and you're still building, and so your peak might be in your 40s. So what I want you guys to understand is it's best for you to raise your vibration level by dealing with your fucking emotions. And one of these things is suppression and expression. So that's why I'm talking about this. Don't suppress your emotions, right? So let me continue. I apologize for the rant, but I wanted you guys to understand what my point of view was here for the people who made it this far. So let me start over. Have you ever watched a very young child fall down and then look around to see if there's any reason to be upset? When children think no one is watching them, in an instant they just let go brush themselves off, and act like nothing's happened. The same child in a similar situation, on seeing the opportunity to get attention, may burst into tears and run into the arms of a parent. Well, I've seen this happen firsthand, right? Kids are funny that way, and then they get over it in like 2 seconds, and they're like, okay, everything's fine now. Or have you ever watched a young child get furious with a playmate or a parent and even say something like, I hate you, I'll never speak to you again, and then just a few minutes later the child feels and acts as though nothing's happened at all? I've seen grown-ass women do this. I've seen grown-ass women do that. Still acting like that. I haven't seen too many grown men do that, but I've seen grown women do that, for sure. This natural ability to release our emotions, that's just my experience, y'all. This natural ability to release our emotions was lost to most of us because though we did it automatically as young children without conscious control, our parents, teachers, friends, and society as a whole trained us out of it as we got older. In fact, it is because we were unconscious of our ability to release that it was possible to train us to hold on. Every time we were told no, told to behave, to sit still and be quiet, to stop squirming that big boys don't cry or big girls don't get angry, and to grow up and be responsible, we learned to suppress our emotions. This is huge. I used to do that, right? See, a lot of people, because of the SAD diet, standard American diet, a lot of kids are full of energy, lots of sugar, lots of high carb intake, that kind of stuff, and they're bouncing off the walls. And then their parents are like, yo, chill out, because their parents can't handle it, right? We learn to suppress our emotions. Furthermore, we were often seen as an adult when we got to the point where we were good at suppressing our natural exuberance for life and all the feelings that others convinced us to believe were unacceptable. We became more responsible to others' expectations of us than to the needs of our own emotional well-being. I want you guys to ask yourself how much that applies to you. How much do you care about how other people think about you? How much do you care about how other people feel about you? How much do you care about how society feels about you? A lot of people are worried about where they're at in life. I don't have this, I don't have that, I'm not married, I don't have kids, I don't have a house, I don't have a job, I don't have this. That's why I'm creating Make Money Online courses, because I want you guys to be able to have a way or something that you can do to add value to the world at scale so you guys can earn more money. One blog can change your entire fucking life. I just put that in my course. That's one of the videos. Right now, the course is just mindset videos right now in how to make money online, because that's what you guys need. The execution part is literally 95% consistency. There is a joke that aptly illustrates this point. For the first 2 years of a child's life, everyone around them is trying to get them to talk and walk. For the next 18 years, everyone's trying to get them to sit down and shut up. By the way, there's nothing wrong with disciplining children. Children need to learn boundaries in order to function in life, and they need to be protected at times from obvious danger. It is just that adults can unintentionally go overboard. What we're referring to here is suppression. Is keeping a lid on our emotions, pushing them back down, denying them, repressing them, and pretending they don't exist. I see many of you guys doing that as students of mine. That's why I let you guys ramble and talk in the chats, because you're expressing, you're saying something. Talking helps. Any emotion that comes into awareness that is not let go is automatically stored in a part of our mind called the subconscious. A big part of how we suppress our emotions is by escaping them. We take our own attention off them long enough so we can push them back down. You have probably heard of the expression, time heals all wounds. It's debatable. For most of us, what it really means is give me enough time and I can suppress anything. That is called baggage. Many of you guys are dealing with that. Many of you guys go into another relationship holding on to what you feel about your exes. And then you guys have the audacity to say women are like this or men are like that because of your own personal experience. However, if you learned how to cultivate what makes you attractive, and then you applied that and started dating women who actually like you and don't just settle for women who are kind of half in and half out with you, and then you expect them to start loving you the same way that you love them. See, it turns into this massive expectation cycle, and If you guys spent more time focusing on your own energy, becoming more attractive, raising your consciousness level so you're not fearful, right? You're not full of shame and apathy and grief and fear, that when you actually focus on those emotions and you let them go, you stop suppressing them and you let them come up, you're like, okay, and then you let it go. That is when you're going to start attracting people to you that are higher quality. Then you won't deal with shitty men and shitty women. You can leave those low vibration people to others, but you have to raise your vibration yourself in order to keep those people in your life and attract those people into your life. See, when you deal with people like that, they're always going to beat you because negativity is very loud and very strong. And you'll just get beat down by the consistency of it all. When someone's a negative Nancy all the fucking time, you're like, man, get away from me. It's too much. Because they see this world through this lens. And, misery loves company, right? So if you guys spend more time cultivating what makes you attractive, what makes you a better option, raising your sexual market value number, sorry, I got like a tickle in my throat. If you try to raise your sexual market value, you guys get in great shape. You guys start focusing on your income and your money. Things that make you happy and make you feel good are the same things that women are going to be attracted to. And then you get to this point where you reach this energy where you're like, I don't care anymore about what people think or feel about me. You start caring more about your own energy and the things that you put energy into, and you want to grow those. That is when you start to really care about who's in your life and who is not. And that is a major breakthrough I had personally. Granted, there are some times when suppression can be a better choice than expression. For instance, when you're at work and your boss or coworker says something you don't agree with, but it's not the appropriate time to give them feedback. It's a habitual suppression that is unhealthy and unproductive. We escape our emotions by watching television, going to movies, reading books, drinking, using prescription and non-prescription drugs, exercising, and a whole host of other activities designed to help take our attention off of our emotional pain long enough so we can push it back down. Our phones right now are a major distraction. Right? Next video. TikTok is horrible for this. I'm not going to lie, guys. I've spent an entire fucking day, probably a few times, on TikTok, just watching TikToks. But I watch spiritual TikToks, so I feel like they are helping me in a way. And I've seen some really, really cool and really good TikToks that helps with my spiritual. I've connected with a couple of TikTokers. I'm like, yo, like, I'm going to call you, like, how much do you charge? And two of them were like, I don't charge any money, just call me right now. And one guy charges money, and I was like, yo, I'm talking to you guys. Like, I need to understand this, because there's levels to this, right? I'm like, I thought I was at a decent level, but these guys are like, bro. So that's what I want to get to. I'm sure you would agree that most of the items on this list are not inappropriate in and of themselves. It is just that we tend to pursue these activities or use these substances to excess, and we lose control. It's really important that you just take a look at what's going on. That's why meditation is so important. A lot of people, again, are so distracted, and then they move, like, it's almost like they're a pressure, like an Instapot pressure cooker. It's like so ready to, everyone is so ready to pop, right? That they just don't. How can you be in a relationship if you can't handle like a little bit of criticism, or you can't handle like something that happens externally? Yeah, if you're calm, you can handle everything else out here, no problem. Right? Again, if I lost my business tomorrow, I would be upset about it for about a week, right? And then I would start building again, because there's no point in being upset about something you can't control. If it's gone, it's gone. That's why people can't understand that concept. I've said that to students before. They were like, what if your wife left you? I'm like, if she's gone, she's gone. It would hurt for a little while, and then I'd say, okay, now it's time for me to make a choice to let go and to move on. Because if I sit there in that emotion in the red all the time, that doesn't serve me anymore. And then you start to take control over your happiness. You guys have complete control over your happiness. You do. You do. You just don't feel like you do, because inside you're a topped up pressure cooker. If I literally like turn that little lid that releases that's what letting go is. When you turn that little thing that lets all the pressure and air out, and it makes that hissing sound, when you do that, that's what letting go is. But here's another thing. A lot of people will get angry, and then that thing will also and start, but you're now acting Will Smith, right? You're not acting out of that emotion. We use them as a compensation for our inability to deal with our inner emotional conflicts. Excessive escape is so prevalent in our culture that it has spawned many thriving industries. By the time we are labeled adults, we are so good at suppressing that most of the time it is totally second nature. We become as good or better at suppressing as we originally were at letting go. Right. That's a big one. In fact, we have suppressed so much of our emotional energy that we're all a little like walking time bombs, like I just literally said. I haven't read this yet, but I watch people, and this is exactly how they act. They're a walking time bomb. That is exactly true. Often, we don't even know that we have suppressed our true emotional reactions until it is too late. Our body shows signs of stress-related illnesses. Our shoulders are stuck in our ears. Our stomach is in knots, and we have exploded and said or done something that we now regret. So like I said earlier, now, like if things between my girl and I get to a place where it's getting to that, you choose to stop it. I'm leaving. I'm letting you because sometimes between you and your girl, might get to a point where communication is just no longer working. And since that person's in front of you and expressing how they feel about you, then you're like, what about how I feel? See, when arguments actually happen, it's because one or both people are not being heard. And you're trying to speak louder so the person across from you will hear you. Right? It just turns into this mess. Suppression is one side of the pendulum swing of what we are usually doing with our emotions. The other side of the pendulum swing is expression. If we're angry, we yell. If we are sad, we cry. We put our emotion into action. We have let off a little steam from the inner emotional pressure cooker. I swear I have not read this part yet. We have not put out the fire. This often feels better than suppression, particularly if we have blocked our ability to express. We often feel better afterwards. Nonetheless, expression also has its drawbacks. Good therapy is generally based off of helping us get in touch with our expression of emotions. And healthy, lasting relationships certainly could not survive without us clearly expressing how we feel. But what about when we express ourselves inappropriately outside of a therapeutic situation? What about the feelings of the person to whom we have just expressed? Inappropriate expression can often lead to greater disagreements. See, this is something that people need to really understand. Most of the time, you guys are here because of a complacency or insecurity issue. But what do you think leads up to that person not associating you with positive feelings anymore? Because that's why women leave you. Women don't leave you when things are good, when they're the most attracted to you. They leave when things are negative for too long. Things have been negative, like fight. Or that person looks at you, because a lot of people are like, oh, we don't fight ever, which could be true. That person just you might be, what's the word I'm looking for? If you're in a relationship with that person, you guys never fought, then she's probably bored of you, right? One of the other. I'm not saying you need to fight in order to stay not bored, right? Captivated by that person. But that's usually what coexists with that statement. Oh, Kyle, we've never fought. We've only fought like once ever in the 2 or 3 years. Okay, cool. When's the last time you guys went on a date? Is my first question after that. And they're like, oh, I don't know. It's always the answer. It's always the same answer. Inappropriate expression can often lead to greater disagreement and conflict and a mutual escalation of emotion that can get out of control. I have done that. I have done that before. A few times. I am not perfect either. But this is something that once awareness precedes, change is often done when you become aware of what you're doing. And of course, the person's reaction of how you act is the first piece of evidence that you're like, oh man, something's not working here, right? But the point is, after that, do you choose to get better? Are you able to face your ego and go, man, I suck right now. I need to get better. That's what most of you guys are coming to me for. You're like, oh man, you know what? Okay, I need to get better. Neither suppression or expression is a problem in and of itself. They are merely two different ends of the same spectrum of how we usually handle our emotions. A problem arises when we don't feel in control over which one is happening. And many times we find ourselves doing the opposite of what we intended. Often we get stuck on one side of the spectrum or the other. So how many people do you know that have a lot of anxiety issues? Could be you. If you have that, you're most likely not able to express how you feel. You're probably suppressing everything. And then whenever somebody shows some sort of, I don't want to say disdain, but some sort of way to you that you're not used to dealing with, it causes this anxiety to go off. Anxiety is usually caused by fear. And usually that fear, there's tons of sub emotions underneath fear. And they're actually in this book. So I don't know where, but it's in this book somewhere. And you guys can, it's called ag flap. So apathy, grief. So ag flap, I know it sounds funny. So apathy, grief, and then flap, right? So ag, A-G, apathy, grief. And then flap, F-L-A-P, is fear, lust, anger, and pride. So apathy, grief, fear, lust, anger, pride, ag, flap. And now you can look at those emotions and then you go, okay, and then there's good parts of it, cap. So it could be calp, C-A-L-P, which means courage, acceptance, love, and peace. Those are the good emotions. Most of the world is in ag flap, and you want to get in cap or calp, right? So courage, acceptance, peace, love, these are where you want to be. And that's why most of you long for relationships back, because you're like, fuck, the only time I was ever happy was when I was in this area, which just goes to show you that love is very powerful, because you're trying to get back there. You're trying to get back to acceptance. See, when you're in a relationship, you are in calp all the time, especially when a relationship is good. So when that aspect of your life is good, and you're encouraged, acceptance, somebody is accepting you for who you really are inside. When you are in a relationship, right, you're holding nothing back with that person. So you're acting goofy and they love you and they laugh at you and they laugh with you, right? Like me and my girl, I'm goofy when I'm with her, but I'm also goofy because I know I can be. Many of you are goofy and you're definitely an ag flap when you do it, right? So the point is, guys, when you connect with somebody, you want to be 80%, the 80-20 rule. You want to be 80% in cap or calp, C-A-L-P, courage, acceptance, love, and peace, versus ag flap. And when you get there, relationships will be way better. You're going to attract people that are way better quality, higher quality. You're going to keep people around you that are high quality. It's going to be a way better life. And if you guys want help with this, let me know, because we can do coaching on that, right? The letting go process and how to do that better and faster and whatever. And obviously XBAC stuff, make money stuff. We can focus on whatever you guys want to focus on, but you have to obviously book a call and then we can discuss all those things. So I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy. Thank you guys for watching this long ass video. Done.